Hey everybody, I'm here today to show you how to make a bouncy ball out of these rainbow loom rubber bands. So let's get right to it. You're going to start off by getting a few of the rubber bands and bringing them together all lined up. So I'm just going to grab 4 rubber bands for the purposes of this video. But you can use 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, pretty much any small number will work. Then you are going to, once they are lined up, you are going to squeeze them together and flatten them out with your index finger and thumb, just like that. Now the next step is to join them together and sort of secure them together using a rubber band. So while I am holding these, I'm going to wrap this rubber band around them, just like that. And then now that it has been wrapped around, I'm going to pull it, twist it, and then wrap it around again. And I'm going to continue that process, basically pulling, twisting, and wrapping it around again. So I'm just going to continue that until the flexibility of this rubber band has gone out and I can't stretch it anymore. So I'm going to pull, twist, and then wrap it around. And I'm literally going to keep doing that. Alright, so now as you can see, I have finished wrapping this rubber band around the 4 original rubber bands that I had squished together, and now it is a solid piece and it is much easier to work with because it is all joined together. So the next part of the process involves doing the exact same thing that I just did with this rubber band, with this pink one right here, but with some additional rubber bands. But it will be a little bit easier to do now because there is already a secure base. There is already a secure center. So I'm just literally going to take another rubber band and do the exact same thing. So put it around them, pull, twist, wrap it around. Pull, twist, wrap it around. Pull, twist, wrap it around, and so forth. I'm going to keep doing this with additional rubber bands until I have developed a fairly solid base. So I'm just going to keep doing this with more rubber bands until I have a pretty decent sized base and center for the bouncy ball. Alright, so as you can see, I have continued to wrap the rubber bands around the original centerpiece that I had created, and the next step is to wrap the rubber bands around the other way so I can turn this oval shape into somewhat of a circle. So I'm going to turn this way now, and I'm going to start wrapping rubber bands around it in this orientation. So I'm going to literally do the same thing that I was doing before, but wrap the rubber bands around it within this orientation. Now that I have wrapped a few rubber bands around it on this orientation, I am going to wrap a few more around it with this orientation just to hold those in place. So I'm going back to the first orientation that I was working with, and this will just hold those new rubber bands in place. And that is basically the entire process for the most part. The key is to just keep alternating. Once you have hit this point, do a few rubber bands within this orientation and a few rubber bands within that orientation, and eventually you will be able to do some rubber bands going across in between the orientations. And sooner or later, once you have used up quite a bit of these rainbow loom rubber bands, you will be able to have a bouncy ball. The key is to just continually wrap more rubber bands around the centerpiece, and eventually you will not even have to twist them. You will just be able to open them up and put them around the rubber band ball that you have created, and you won't have to twist them. You'll just be able to put them around and release them, and they will be securely in place. And this is my progress after continuing the process for about 10 minutes. But unfortunately, I have to finish this video now because I have something else to do and I want to edit this video and upload it. But the process is fairly simple. You have to just start off with that centerpiece that I showed you how to create, and then you have to just continually add on, one by one, add on some of these rubber bands to that centerpiece, starting off in one orientation, then working your way to the second orientation, and back and forth until you can start adding on rubber bands across in between the two orientations that you were working with. And once you get the bouncy ball to about this size, the process becomes much easier because it is easier to work with something like this. It's easier to wrap these bands around something that has this shape. Much easier. So that's basically it. Just follow the steps that I've shown you in this video and you will be able to make a rainbow loom bouncy ball, basically a rubber band ball, very easily. And that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching.